Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans! To another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and man, oh man, oh man, happy afternoon, Sunday, everybody. I don't know if I said that right, but whatever. Today, I have a young lady that is absolutely blazing a trail from herself. She is a champion. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Skyler Sparks. Welcome, Skyler. Welcome to Dudes at Ringside.
Thank you. I'm sure the honor is all yours, Joe.
And I'm very happy to have you too, because you're like a very big name, and I'm so honored to have you on. So if my fans from like the East Coast that don't know about you, and why would they not be? No, introduce yourself.
Well, I mean, like you said, I am Skyler Sparks. I am the current NWA World League Wrestling Ladies Champion, based out of St. Louis, Missouri. I trained with the one and only legendary Harley Race and love wrestling. There's really not much more I can say about that. I mean, if you really want a full in-depth look at who I am, just look at my body of work.
Awesome. That's amazing. I'm so good. I'm so honored to have an awesome person like you on this podcast, and it's just amazing to think that you were trained by he's an absolute legend. So you got the little sparkly gems on you from Harley. So what are some of the words of wisdom that came from the man, the myth, the legend?
Man, when I first started wrestling, he would always tell me, go out there and make your stuff look good. Make your wrestling look good. People are going to remember you for your wrestling, all that other stuff it'll come with it, right? Everything will come. Just go out there, wrestle, do what you know the best, make your stuff look good. And that's something that I took from him. Gosh, even till today, I go out there every single time I'm in that ring. I always try to make everything that I do look the best that I can.
Awesome. So when did you officially find when did you find the place you trained? Because I know it's not easy. Nowadays it's easy. You just go on the internet, type in wrestling school, and it like you'll get like 19 of them in your area, or like from wherever you are. Was it easier or hard to find the school?
For me, it was really easy because I knew that I had always wanted to train at World League. So just kind of going back a couple years, World League Wrestling started basically in a small town in central Missouri, right? And that town is actually where my grandma lived. And so every single year I would go down and spend the summers with my grandma. Well, at the same time, I would go and go to Harley Race's World League Wrestling shows at the same time. So I knew from the first time that I had watched a live show that is exactly what I wanted to do. There was no doubt in my mind I wanted to train at his school only.
Wow. Do you remember the first moment that when you went to your first show?
Oh yeah. I remember the first show that I had went to. My aunt was actually working concession stands because it was for a what was it for? It was for like a fundraiser, and so she was working concession stands, and she took me, and I remember from that moment on, I was hooked.
Oh wow, awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool to know that like you knew the moment you stepped in that arena to like see the show. But when you first stepped indoors for your actual first training, what do you think was the toughest part of it?
Oh man. All of it's tough. Like wrestling is not easy at all. It's probably one of the more challenging sports out there, I think, in my personal opinion. There's just so many different factors that go into it. But I think the hardest part was breaking the misconception of what I had that pro wrestling was from inside of the ring, right? A lot of people think that the ring is soft. It's just got springs in it. It's far from soft. It's probably one of the most physically taxing things that you could ever do.
Mm. So, what are some of your like workout regimens like the week of a show?
So, week of a show, I mean, your legs, you have to have such endurance in your legs with pro wrestling because the moment your legs go, the moment your wind goes, so on and so forth. So, for me, I do at minimum, and this is no exaggeration, I do at minimum 150 squats a day.
Wow.
Now, that's during the week of the show, right? On off weeks, maybe sometimes it's a little bit more than that, because I don't want to completely, kill my legs before a show and then not be able to wrestle. Um, but your legs, your cardio, making sure you're eating right, making sure you're staying on top of everything that you need to stay on top of, to make sure that you are in that physically prime fit period in your life to go wrestle. It's very difficult.
Mm. So, when it do you guys do shows at different like venues like most indie promotions, or is it like the same place you guys do shows?
So, with World League specifically, we have our own arena. So we have our own arena. We go and we train there and we host shows there. But sometimes we'll travel out into other towns in Missouri. But specifically, we have like our own arena that we wrestle at,
Oh wow, that's
and it's
awesome.
yeah, and it's the school.
Does it take a lot out of you when you have to travel to another venue when you have to be in the car for like hours?
For me personally, no, because I'm used to traveling. I travel all the time. I love traveling as well. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. So I picked the correct profession to be in at the same time. Um, so for me, I wouldn't say so. You pop on a good podcast and you're probably good to go.
Definitely, you'll have to have this one on just to like recap of what you said. Man, that
this
Panther man asked the most randomest shit.
this episode specifically as well.
Of course. Um, is there any other place in the United States that you would like to wrestle and travel to?
Yeah, I mean, one of my dream venues to wrestle in is Madison Square Garden. If you're an athlete in the United States, like that should be a bucket list place to do any kind of athletic competition. So for
I better
me,
be there that day. Oh my
if
god.
yeah,
I'll
you'd
be
be
that
you'd be the first.
crying uncle in the back row.
So I would say for me personally, Madison Square Garden is probably one of the top of the list.
Awesome. I live in Pennsylvania, so I grew up in New York. So you said you rang every bell for me, Madison Square Garden. Check. Like even going to the city and just looking at the Mecca and just staring at it and taking the picture by the sign, that big Madison Square Garden sign, just you were here. I was here. Okay, I was here.
Hmm.
Like so we're gonna talk about your lovely championship belt.
Yes.
Let's go through it from bell to bell, like when you first hit the curtain for that match, what was going through your head?
I was very confident going into that match. To be very honest with you, so for those of you that don't know, um, World League Wrestling, the women's division, it was kind of vacant for a while. The women's title, it was just sitting on a shelf collecting dust.
Wow.
And a lot of people will say that Tootie Lynn and I brought the women's division back, but I mean, in my personal opinion, it was me. I was the one that brought it back, and Tootie was just along for the ride. Um, in 2023, I want to say maybe August of 2023, we wrestled each other for the first time ever for that women's belt. She unfortunately beat me. I say she got lucky, but that's just my opinion. And then in November of 2024, the night that World League Wrestling became a territory of the NWA, I fought Tootie Lynn again for the what is now known as the NWA World League Wrestling Ladies Championship. And at that time, I had wrestled 2D for about a year, so I knew her ins and outs, and I knew what she did, knew how to just kind of like counteract everything that she did. I had her figured out. From the moment I stepped through that curtain, I was very, very confident that that belt was coming home with me. There was no doubt in my mind, and it ended up being a no disqualifications match. So,
Ooh,
which worked perfect for me because I'm going to do whatever I have to do to ensure that I walked out with that title on my shoulder. And that's exactly what I did. We had a hell of a match, her and I did. I don't want to take anything away from her, but at the same time, she just wasn't better than me that night. So I think in the time that I've held that belt, 9 months, I would say, I have brought more relevancy to it than in the past 10 years than anybody has in the past at least 10 years. So I hold a lot of pride in being the women's champion at World League Wrestling, now NWA World League Wrestling. Um, but more importantly, I hold a lot of pride in just being able to say that I've made that belt relevant once again.
awesome. Do you ever like look back on the women that have been that have had that belt before you to see what they have done to keep that belt so long? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did. So kind of going back to, what we talked about earlier, um, because I followed World League Wrestling from such a younger age, right? So I would go to all the shows. I was at every single show almost. So I would see, the likes of Stacey O'Brien, Miss Natural, Amy Henning, Becca Swanson. Like I would see them hold that title, and they had multiple reigns, right? Multiple reigns, long reigns, and I would see what they would do. But now I'm trying to just, do what Skyler Sparks can do what I want to do with that belt. And we're kind of in a new stratosphere considering that we're associated with the NWA. So there's more avenues, there's more opportunities. So I'm just trying to bring as many opportunities to World League for our women's division as I possibly can.
Awesome. I noticed a lot of your move set is like to me brings me to Kurt Angle. Like the Germans and like a lot of your move set. Like, did you do you have the thought process with your moves? Is that more like you're like almost like a catch can style, like old school wrestling with the flippy moves and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm not somebody that really likes to leave my feet per se. So you're not gonna catch me, doing that luchador style of wrestling. And if I do leave my feet, go to the top rope or anything of that nature, it's for a good reason or I'm desperate, one of the two. um,
Mm.
but I really enjoyed watching Kurt Angle growing up. I never did amateur wrestling. I'm not even gonna pretend to say that I did, but um I don't see a lot of women using those kind of moves. They use, the more flashier moves, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's just not my style. I'm very much I enjoy the old school pace of things. And just being able to take somebody off their feet, lift them, and throw them across the ring. That's kind of how I like to operate. I have been told I throw a pretty mean clothesline, a pretty mean strike, so I'll throw those in there every once in a while just to catch somebody off guard. But yeah, I think just with the way that I am built, I can typically pick up um, specific people. If I can't, then I'm just gonna punch your lights out. So take your pick, which one you want.
You wouldn't hit a man with glasses, right? Like
No, I would. That's the unfortunate part
that's
for
the see
most
like
people.
Lucius Crowe be like, get him. Get
Right.
him, girl. He didn't know how to take it. I did. My ego got hurt. But I'm fine. Nobody, I didn't die. The memorial's canceled. I'm fine, Lucius. You think it? Open a third eye. Don't worry. But yeah, when you do travel to the shows, what kind of snacks are in your car to like keep yourself going? So you have to be able to get ready for the show.
Mm. So I've never been a big energy drink person. I don't know. I just don't like them. Not the biggest fan of them. But I tried this. It's like a seltzer water, flavored seltzer water. It's called Bubbler. They don't have like a lot of flavors, but they're a little bit more on the healthier side of. I wouldn't consider it an energy drink. It's more like a sparkling water, but it has about the same amount of caffeine as a like 1 cup of coffee, right? And it's got some antioxidants, stuff like that. I'm a really big fan of like honey roasted cashews. So
Ooh.
you'll probably always catch me with some honey roasted cashews. Some beef
Guess if I come
jerky.
to a wrestling show, I have to buy you a bag of like honey roasted cashews. Like,
That
here
is
you
the way to
go.
win me over.
Oh, well, it's me. I'm a teddy bear. I'm a little panther. I got to buy a little present.
So maybe some beef jerky, some cheese sticks, stuff of that nature. But I'm just a sucker for honey roasted cashews. I'm not gonna
You're gonna
lie.
be going to the gas station if you came to PPW and be like, Randy, why are you buying all that stuff? My guest is gonna be at the show. Hey, guys, okay, beef jerky.
Right?
Gonna buy like a box and be like, leave him with a box. Be like, Merry Christmas. Right? There's stickers. I'm gonna put my stickers in the bag and like,
Yeah, it would
bye.
be like a little Christmas gift.
I do have stickers, so like we probably do a sticker trade. So it's okay.
Yeah, there you go. I got some stickers too, so I'll give you one.
Yay, sticker. When it comes to like out of like when you if you want to like you're watching the other wrestlers on the scene, like you have these female wrestlers, women's wrestlers this now in the indies, it's like top notch. It is like who's who of the indies. Have you thought of anybody that you would want to come to your promotion to challenge you for your belt?
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, I obviously have thought of this. The first person that comes to mind, she I don't like she still runs the indies. So but she has recently been signed to TNA. I would love to mix up with Maggie Lee. Maggie Lee is
Ooh,
one of my she's one of my top bucket list opponents that was on the indies. I still consider her to be on the indies, considering that she still does run indie promotions. But she is signed as well. So I think she's always been one of my top opponents that I've wanted to wrestle, but I've just never got the chance to mix it up with her.
if my fans want to follow you on social media, how can they find you?
Yeah, so on Instagram, I'm on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Skyler_Sparks1. I'm on Facebook as well, so you're more than welcome to add me or follow my page. Yeah, Skyler_Sparks1, the one and only.
If my fans want to pick up any merch, how can they find you?
You can just message me. Message me on any social media. I'll be happy to send you some merch.
Awesome. Before we go, if there was any kids watching the podcast and they would like to become a wrestler like you did, like you've inspired to do, what kind of advice would you have for them?
I would say find a reputable school, find a good school, but find a school that's going to teach you how to wrestle and be safe with yourself. Be safe with yourself, right? There's a lot of schools out there that are just very shady. And don't be afraid to ask somebody, hey, do you recommend this school? So on and so forth. Do your research. Make sure this is really something that you want to do, because this isn't just, if you want to make a name for yourself in professional wrestling, this isn't just something that you can do, on the weekends. Like, this is a Sunday through Saturday commitment. Every day of the week, 7 days a week. You have to commit yourself, not only just at school, at a wrestling school, but outside of school, outside of wrestling school. You need to go to the gym. You need to eat properly. You need to study, study matches, study moves, study character work, so on and so forth. But the most important thing that I could tell you is find yourself a reputable school, and a very safe school that's not going to take you for just your money. That's going to help invest in you as well.
Awesome. Skyler, I want to thank you so much for coming on that so much for coming on Dudes Ringside, and thank you so much for sharing your journey, your start of your career. I want to wish you nothing but the best of luck on your wrestling journey, and I want you to send my love to all the wrestlers on the roster, even the wrestler you beat, and I'm so glad that you brought the knowledge and your championship reign, and I know it's gonna be a long reign, girl, because you're an amazing athlete. And
Trying.
keep that going, keep that mojo going. The Dudes at Ringside magic is hitting you right now. I thank you so much for doing this for me. I'm Joe Panther the Third,
I'm Skyler Sparks, the one and only.
and we will catch you in the next one.